Oh,
I just did it.
you got the overlay going? Or we're just gonna wait it
I
out?
mean, we're just watching this.
Yeah, just watching you eat.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh
no. Put the loop. Put the loop. No, what the? Welcome back to the Back Porch Overs Club Selection Show. I'm Nate. It's great to see you guys again. We had a wonderful championship weekend, plenty to talk about today, and I am glad and happy to introduce the boys. We're back, all of us back again. I got Scott on the line. Say hey, Scott.
Grit, baby.
He's brought his grit with his grit tonight, man. He's gonna have so much to talk about. So we had Scott on last week, coming out back from Ohio from that devastating loss, but it's okay. Got plenty to talk about. There's so much to go. And then our boy Jake is back in the house.
What up?
Us. Jake has been in Qatar covering all of the World Cup. The World Cup. Sorry, I started late. I was eating some mediocre French fries and nuggets from Wendy's, but it's not mediocre. Our picks.
It's very true.
And our against the spreads and us. So I will say that. So, man, we have so much to get into, but introductions. I want to go with Scott first. I want to say, Scott, what have you been up to this week? What was your take on everything and anything like that? Whatever you want to do. It's just all you, baby.
Well, it started with, a hope, a thought, a prayer, a dream, really, to see Utah beat USC on Friday night, and it did not look good to start. It really didn't.
Did not.
Caleb just decided to just go out and do his thing against Utah, and it's 17-3, and I'm, well, there goes our chance. Like, we're done. Like, see you in the Rose Bowl or the Orange Bowl, depending on who was going to accept what and that BS. But Utah comes back and just hammers USC and just absolutely abolishes. I woke up on Saturday morning. I was like, wow, that wasn't a dream that Utah won that game. Like, that was like a legit game that happened, and Utah actually beat USC. It wasn't just a hallucination on a Friday night after a couple twisted teas. It was real life.
Am I dreaming? Is this amazing?
So it was awesome. And then, we roll into Saturday with an awesome game, and TCU goes down at noon, and you just start wondering, like, what is actually going to happen when it comes to the playoff. And I didn't like the way that the committee dropped USC all the ways down to where they did and then kept TCU where they were. Like, I felt like if they were going to drop USC, then TCU had to drop a little bit too. But at the end of the day, like, they got the matchup that they wanted. They've been wanting the Ohio State-Georgia game for a while now. And then you set yourself up for either Georgia, Michigan, a good chance of having Georgia, Michigan, or Ohio State, Michigan as your championship game. That is a good possibility that either two of those matchups could happen. So I think that that is going to be a fun playoff. It's going to be a fun bowl season. I think we're in line to have a great December to finish up what was a amazing and awfully too fast college football season.
Oh yeah, I can't believe it went by that quick, guys. I really can't. Jake, from a guy who's had no dog in the fight this weekend, how was the college football weekend for you, or just in life in general? Catch us up, man. It's been a few weeks.
Man, it's been great. Of course, you all know I'm a giant soccer guy. So World Cup being on has been, with Auburn as bad as they are, has been a big focus of mine. Just watching the U.S. do what the U.S. does best and not be good at soccer, but that's okay. We're in the up and coming with some young guys, but other than that, like, obviously I still am a college football fan. I'm a football fan in general. So just getting to watch the chaos has been absolutely amazing. The only thing I was worried about is that somehow Alabama was going to sneak in, and I was not going to be happy. As an Auburn fan, I wasn't going to be happy.
Oh, I wasn't happy. I was sweating too.
Yeah. But the biggest thing for me is obviously it's no secret we've been on a giant coaching search here at Auburn, which I know we're going to jump into later. But we finally got our man. Winter is here. Hugh Freeze, head coach, and he's starting to put together a pretty good little staff. And there's some whisperings today of maybe a 5-star flip from Bama to Auburn coming soon, but we'll see. We'll see. So it's a good few weeks.
Look, Jake coming in hot with the news. I like it. I like it.
Portal season.
You know, it's not even a season. It's just a way of life now. Yeah, we'll get into that too, guys. It was for me as a Tennessee fan. One, being rated and ranked at 7, that really sucked. I don't think we should have got punished because Hooker. I mean, yeah, we lost to South Carolina, but they really punished us because Hooker wasn't playing. But I feel like Joe Milton can do kind of good. I don't know. But yeah, whatever. As long as Bama didn't make it, we're happy. Mm-hmm. So Bama and Clemson didn't make it in there. So the back porch got its wish. We're very happy for Scott. You know, you got drug at home, but it's okay. People are very forgiving.
Yep.
And you know, you got a huge thank you by the Southern Cal lovers. So next time you're in Southern Cal, you'll have to go by the campus and give them a donation or something for their help.
Little handshake love.
Little handshake. You know, go by the library, grab something. You know, well, yeah, for sure. So we're gonna get into tonight's game plan, and if we had like a,
we have it somewhere.
Let me find it. There it is. Tonight's game plan presented by StreamYard for all your streaming needs, because we're on the app and we don't have any sponsors. So, hey, if you have a business, we'll shout it out for you. But like and subscribe. We'll give you all the plugs. We have the game plan tonight. We're going to talk our portal craziness. So if you have not seen anything the most recently, it's insane out there. And storms are brewing, and it's called the portal. And a lot of kids are going to be really disappointed and wishing they should have just stayed on and just worked as hard as they can to get a position on their team. Then you got the crazy coaching carousel. If we get to the face-off tonight, we'll probably put that last. But it should be interesting with 3 people on tonight. If Christian Martin's out there, hit us in the chat with some good questions for the face-off. We'd love to see that. We have our bowling season. We'll talk about our pick'em. We'll talk about these matchups. There's some really good matchups that are very actually intriguing. And then our Heisman finalist list. And so there's a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. So my number one thing is transfer portal, right? This is insane. In the first 2 days of the transfer portal, there's over 1,000 players. 1,000 players unbelievable. Trying to find greener pastures, trying to find I didn't start here, or I don't know. But my hot button is if, like, for example, like today, JT Daniels is transferring again. Why?
Yeah. Like, that's annoying.
That's annoying. The freshman who came in as a 4-star, I get it. Maybe you and the coaches didn't gel after they recruited you. But like guys that like JT Daniels, you could just stay where you're at 2 years into the seat, 2 years, like finish out your career at a D1. You know what I mean? Like, where are you going? You got to learn a new system. You got to learn a new coaching staff. You got to find a new home. Like, to me, that makes no sense. Like, that's where the abuse comes with it. That's why it's crazy to me. We can get more into that. Jake's busy with the baby, but I want to hear your take on the transfer portal right now, because as a team like Auburn, they're going to be needing the.
They're going to capitalize on the portal.
We need to add probably about 15 guys before January. I know that may sound crazy, but today alone we had 2 defensive linemen and a linebacker commit to the NFL draft. Tank Bigsby is not committed yet. We all know he's going to go. But then we also lost our receiver to the portal. So, I mean, there you go. There's 5 guys right off rip that you're not getting back next year. Not to mention, we had, out of the 21 guys that Brian Harsin recruited, I think there are 3 still on the roster. So you're looking at 19 missing holes. So the big thing with Auburn, you're going to have to hit the portal hard, hit it fast. And that's any school that's, gone through a coaching change or had some really bad luck with a coach who didn't care about recruiting. I feel like it's only Auburn, but I know there's others out there. So the key is with the transfer portal, and the reason it's cool, and the reason I know some people don't like it, but the reason I like it is you can go from LSU last year to LSU this year, or Tennessee 2 years ago to Tennessee now, by hitting the portal and immediately getting an upgrade. Now, is it fair? What it has done, in my opinion, has made the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Clemsons is a perfect example, made them on a more level playing field, because now guess what? Nick Saban, not only he's a master of recruiting high school students, but he's not a master of recruiting the portal. The guys that come to Alabama just want to win a championship. They don't want to come play they don't care about playing for Nick Saban. They just want that exposure. So it has now leveled the playing field and made these Ryan Days, these Dabo Sweeneys, these Nick Sabans have to go out and recruit 2 things at once. Actually, really 3 things, because you got to keep your guys at home. So these guys that are landing, these top 1, 2, 3, 4 classes, Jimbo Fisher, now you're losing these guys that you're recruited because you're not giving them playing time, or they want to leave for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Or they may be homesick. Look at Robbie Ashford at Auburn. He was up in Oregon. He legitimately wanted to be back home close to his family, so he came back to Auburn. So there's good things there. There's also the flip side. There are some bad things with the portal. Maybe there needs to be some type of restriction on it. But I feel like it has leveled the playing field for those middle-tier teams to be able to make a push for that college football playoff. That potentially will be a 12 team soon. So I think it's just leveled the playing field more. So I personally like it because Auburn has never been right there with Alabama. Now we're, every 3 years we are, but not every single year. So I feel like it's leveled the playing field for teams like the Tennessees, who hasn't been relevant recently until this year. The Auburns, even the Ole Misses and Mississippi States, they're starting to look a little more relevant now.
Yeah. That's a good take. That's definitely a good take from the perspective of that. Scott, what's your take on just what's going on right now? Is it abuse? Is it like, are these young kids, are they getting their coaches coming in after the season's over, kind of like how Dion was like, hey, hit the portal because I'm bringing my guys?
Yeah.
Is it like that now? Like, what do you like from your perspective? How do you see it?
Yeah. So first off, yes, Addison, this is a Dan Campbell grit shirt. Very gritty.
Yes,
all
Addison.
about the grit. I do have the grit hat as well. It is in the house that is currently under a little bit of construction.
We are
from the
lovers.
hurricane.
The back porch loves the Lions.
Yes, we love the grit.
The Lions.
We love grit. We love biting kneecaps. We love all of that stuff.
Like chewing nails. We love it.
Yeah, like bowl of nails for breakfast. Love that.
No.
But the portal, to me, I do agree with Jake that I think that we need to take a look at it. And it's not a perfect world that we live in. So whenever you open something up, there's going to be like criticism and things how the NIL, we got to look into NIL and see like what we can do to like make it better, more efficient, instead of like all these guys taking advantage of it. And, Quinn Ewers taking money as a high school senior just to go do virtual classes at Ohio State and then transfer back to Texas in the portal to play. Like, there are things that we need to address with it so it's not abused. And that goes for portal and NIL, but it does level the playing field. I think like all these guys like Jimbo who promise, great things in the recruiting pitch, and then you go out and go 4-8 and you're not giving these guys playing times. It's something that needs to be addressed to put some type of restrictions, but also give a little player power. It was like, hey, this wasn't what I came here to do. Like, this is my position. I also want to go to school for education. So like, this is, more than likely 95% of these players, or 98% of them, are not going to play in the NFL. Like, it's just numbers. So a lot of these guys, I do like the graduation, being able to transfer and get your degree and then transfer. But the actual portal, like, we got to look into some restrictions on it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like what you mentioned there about the like coaches and things like that, especially if they change their tune, they bring you in or something like that. It keeps coaches accountable. It definitely has to keep them accountable as a coach, in my opinion, just because you promise the world to a kid, and yeah, you get some nil money or whatever and whatnot. Or not even promise. You don't really say come work hard, but then you know it your position group, you coach, those 8 or 9 guys, and then you're supposed to keep 8 of those 9 guys all treat the same way. You keep them treated the same way. It keeps that coach accountable because you're obviously going to give your starter more love. The backups are going to obviously get some reps. But what about the guy that fifth string guy, right? Who can go to Eastern Michigan and start as a sophomore, but he wants to be here because it's his dream. And the psyche of that kid is, I actually was a preferred walk on. You promised on that. I'm half scholarshiped and I'm working my ass off, but I'm not being seen. Right? The coaches, because I've been there, the coaches are obviously focused. Their focal point is on the seniors or whoever's starting and getting the starters and the backup ready. They might not tell you, hey, in 3 years from now, you're my priority. But right now, like I have, so it's got to open up lines of communication better, I guess, to like eliminate that. It's like, hey, you're a freshman coming in, you're not, and there's like an All American in front of you, you're not going to play. But like if you got seniors or juniors ahead of you, that's for those individual meetings with your position coach, where you're like, hey, that coach needs to tell you straight up the honest truth, like.
Mm-hmm.
You came in, you didn't work hard during the summer, we could tell.
Mm-hmm.
But if you work hard now, we'll get you in the spring game, get some reps over the summer, stay here this summer, go summer classes, and we could definitely feed you in the rotation. And
Yep.
if we throw
You're
you
gonna
in
play
special
special
teams,
teams. Yep.
yeah, if you throw in special teams, you go all out,
Yep.
right? I don't think like a lot of these kids that are transferring are young already, like
Mm-hmm.
18, 19. I don't know if those conversations are being had like that.
No, they definitely aren't, and I think that that's a problem because if you look at the way that athletes are like treated these days, especially the star players in high school, they are just gifted everything in the world. Like if they wanted a cheeseburger, it's what do you want on top of it? How do you want it cooked? Like everything is just gifted to them, and it comes with the territory that we are raising
Yeah.
which is fine, like paying it forward and like making life better for the next generation. I'm totally for that. But you got to look at it like, hey, like life isn't fair. Everyone, you're not always going to get what you want. You're going to have to settle for something. And everything isn't just, rainbows and sunshine. Like life is hard. So these guys got to understand that like they're competing against, like you said, all Americans, other 5 stars in front of them, people that have been in the program for multiple years, know the system. Like you got to put your butt down, put your nose down, and work hard on special teams and figure it out, the system, learn it and perfect it before you expect to get in the game. Like you shouldn't look at Ohio State. Like look at Marvin Harrison Jr. Like he had to come in and sit last year because we had Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, and he had a 5-star next to him, and Julian Fleming and Emeka Ibuka. Like you could make an argument that he was wide receiver 6. He's best wide receiver in the nation right now. He was wide receiver 4, 5, 6 on the squad last year. But you know what he did? He played his role. He learned the system. He knows how to run routes. He catches every ball that's come to him. And he's Marvin Harrison's kid. Like he's a Hall of Famer's kid. And like things weren't given to him at Ohio State. So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem with the portal. But
I think it benefits the top stars, the top players like a Bo Nix, right?
Mhm.
You can argue right now, and I can argue. I'll say Bo Nix, he needed the portal to show how he could be my brain. He needed the portal because he went to a team who could block for him,
Mhm.
and we finally saw the kid that got recruited out of high school.
Mhm.
That's what those scouts see, right? So it all comes down to when you're recruited and it looks like the right fit, and you're a Bo Nix and you give your all for those 3 years, Jake, at Auburn.
Yeah, 3 for us, freshman,
Yeah, because starts a
through junior.
freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his best offensive line he had was his freshman year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
because he looked so good. And it's like, for me, wondering, like, I'm not an Auburn fan, so I watch and I'm like, why does he look like he's progressed or digressed? He hasn't. He just didn't have time to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Auburn and he's lighting it up. Like he honestly, he's probably one of our Heisman snubs. He should have been invited. The numbers he put up were phenomenal for year one in a system with a brand new coach. So, it does prove that if you are like a Bo Nix, you serve those 3 years, go off to another team that needs you. But like these, like half of Texas A&M's players are all gone. My God, like as of yesterday, they had 10 guys in the portal by 3 p.m. Like that makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it can hurt you as a coach and a staff just as well as it can make it better for you.
Yep.
So the craziness is that there's over 1,000 players in the portal yesterday, and now there's probably 1,500. And not all of those guys are going to go to a team and be handed something. Like it makes no sense.
And then if you're JT Daniels, you'll be in the portal again next year if he has another
well,
year of eligibility.
He might as well transfer to D3 or something and play somewhere. Because that's what's going to happen. These guys are going to transfer. They're going to go to another D1 that's like, yeah, come here, get a shot. And then they get injured and someone else gets above them and they just want to play instantly. So they're just going to go end up at a Division II or FCS school, or they're going to go there, get beat out by some 5'8" kid, some running back. If you're a running back, some 5'8" local kid who's just has more heart. And then you're like, well, I guess I'll just go somewhere and play locally at home, D3 school. It's literally college football's free agency.
Yeah.
And I think, me personally, I think it needs to be capped at 2 portal transfers. You're done at 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't forget that if a coach leaves a college, you get 30 days to enter the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. Which that a head coach, not an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But I think the rule should change to your position coordinator leaves, not the head coach. Yeah. Then you can go, because these guys aren't close to the head coach. I mean, rarely any of them, unless that head coach is a quarterback coach or like Deion Sanders, the DB coach. Of course, he's going to be close to that position group because he's probably coaching them. Mm-hmm. But other than I really truly think if a position coach were to leave, you should get that same grace period. Maybe they should cut it from 30 to 15 days or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I personally been affected by this. So when I got recruited at a high school to go play football, I was going to Southwestern Assemblies of God University. My position coach was the one who recruited me. He's the person I talk to every day. He's the person that I was like, I really want to come here because this guy knows me. He's watched my film. He knows my character. He knows I've talked to him. The defensive coordinator knows me because of him. That's it. So I come there and I sign in to fall camp, and my coach isn't there, and I'm like, "Where's Coach?" I can't remember his name, but where's the coach? And he goes, "Oh, he took a position in Oklahoma," and I'm like, "I just moved my entire life out here, and no one told me." I was devastated. There's no transfer portal for me, so I just stick with it. So. Luckily for me, I love the defensive coach, the coordinator, but it was just one of those things where it's like stuff happens like that all the time. Coaches move around a lot. A lot of guys on my team were like that. One kid, Dion, he went to Colorado State. He got recruited by the previous staff, came in to Colorado State that fall camp. The new head coach kept him on scholarship. And then halfway through camp, took away a scholarship for another player. He had to full ride everything in Colorado State, and he just couldn't do anything. And what? Because the head coach didn't want him. He evaluated him. He's like, you're not going to fit our system.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah.
And that's before portal, right? So he just left. He could have put himself in the portal. he could. So there are good things about it, but we're just seeing the craziness of it right now, and there is abuse with it, but there are good chances. If a coach can leave, players should be able to leave too. I just feel like the players, it should be capped. If like for JT Daniels, it's his third move. Yeah, like it's too much. Like stick it out, man. But there are players on teams that do stick it out. They will reap the reward for not going. And we're gonna in about 4 years. We're after this madness, we're gonna start hearing about those stories. Like they're gonna come out, and it's gonna be fun to hear those really cool stories. Like right now, Joe Milton, he could have easily transferred last year when Hooker got hurt, or when he got hurt and Hooker took the job. He could have easily transferred, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna stay and learn under a great coach and become a better football player." And he stuck it out. So it's like one of those like boy stories where it's like, good job, you stuck it out, you ate it, you humbled yourself, and now you're gonna start in the Orange Bowl. Like it came back to him. So and then next year he's potential starter for the Vols. So we'll see. But hey, we can talk all day about the transfer portal. But we need to get to the next segment. It's our coaching carousel. This was wild, and there's still positions that are available as well for coaches. But we're gonna get to our coaching carousel with our special little graphic, our little carousel. So, Jake, I want you, because you were part of the coaching carousel this go around. I want to get your mind on the certain peoples that landed in certain locations, certain fits and stuff like that. So go ahead and lead us off.
Yeah, obviously part of the carousel is an Auburn fan getting Hugh Freeze, but it was a wild 3 weeks. It had come out that Lane Kiffin was our number one target, and then Lane apparently was talking to Auburn, but then this reporter got wind of it, and he's like, "Let me make a report of this." And then Lane comes back and says, "Hey, no, I'm not going anywhere, blah, 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 blah." And so a lot of us Auburn people think, and a lot of the beat writers and stuff think that Lane didn't go to Auburn just so he could be just so a lot of people think Kiffin didn't go to Auburn just so he could be petty. I think he really truly wanted to stay for his family because he jumps around like kids in the transfer portal these days. So Auburn's number 2 guy was Hugh Freeze. Obviously, they talked to a few guys. They talked to Dion and whatnot, but Hugh Freeze seemed like the best fit. A lot of people liked Freeze. A lot of people hated him because of his stuff outside of the coaching world. Yeah, but I personally don't think that there's a hungrier coach out there that wanted to come in and coach. He's got the SEC pedigree. He knows how to recruit. He knows how to run offenses. And he knows how to go get guys that want to coach for him and be a part of it. So Auburn's now kind of turned into the last chance for coaches with, Bruce Pearl and Hugh Freeze on campus. But
it's worked out for Pearl. I mean,
but Auburn completely cooperated with what was asked for the NCAA and through Greg Sankey. So a lot of Bama fans, Ole Miss fans are dogging us. But the funny thing is, Alabama tried to hire him in 2018 as an offensive coordinator. So, Greg Sankey just wasn't having it. So that, as far as Auburn goes, that was my that's kind of my feel on it. A few of the other coaches, or do you want to stick to talking about Freeze for a second, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's the first. That's the first one on the carousel. Obviously that one, because that was to me that was the biggest opening.
Yeah.
Of Power 5 football, because of what you get with it. You get amazing fan base. You get amazing booster. You get a literally ready to go. They'll do everything they can for you.
$12 to $13 million of NIL just sitting there.
You're just sitting there, based and on top of that new facility, like it's like you're walking into a dream as a head coach. Like you could not, like when you talk about the checklist, if I'm a head coach, like what do I want to be around? I want to be around a freaking an amazing fan base with tradition, good rivalries, the pressure's there to win. NFL guys walking in and out of the program, right? So tradition, like it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine, and it's in a small town in Alabama. That's the crazy part. I think, honestly, I personally think that Hugh Freeze hiring, just like Jake Crane has been saying for months, it's ideal. It's perfect. He runs an offense that Auburn fans love. They're used to it. That open RPO spread stuff. The man can coach football. He can coach an offense. He can coach up. He can definitely coach some quarterbacks. That's for sure. So whoever's going to be the quarterback in the future, you're going to have a really good coached, schemed, and fundamentally coached team. He's done it before. He's won before. He's won everywhere he goes. Like, my dad and I were talking, and I forgot about it, but when I was in high school, I did get recruited by Lambeth when he was their head coach. So I got a Hugh Freeze letter at the house. I didn't even realize it. But if I would have gone, I think he ended up that year. I think he ended up going from Lambeth to another school. So I would have never been coached by him anyway. But I was like, oh yeah, it's like he won at the high school level in Tennessee, and he won at the Division III level or Division II level. He's won it everywhere he goes. So yeah. What is that? So hold on. Where's this 5G thing? Oh my god. Hold on. Where?
I have a take on Deion Sanders that's very unpopular.
Go ahead. I've got music in my ears going on right now. Yeah.
Gotcha. Give
me your take. I'm trying to figure it out. Go ahead.
So Deion Sanders, I love the dude. Like, he'd be someone that I would want to play for. Like, I'd probably run through a wall to play for Deion. Like, I think he can motivate kids well. But what he did at this opening press conference, like telling his kid to stand up and telling Colorado, oh, that's your quarterback, right here. And then he's like, oh, well, he's got to earn the starting quarterback position. It's not going to be given to him. 30 seconds ago, you just told the whole Colorado media that you told your son to stand up and told him that he is your quarterback. You don't have to hide it. We know that you were going to do that, but you can't just go out and tell everyone hey, he's going to be the starting quarterback. You're basically giving these kids like we were talking earlier, they're privileged to be able to get that. They're not going to work for it. Same thing with all the kids in the portal that are going to come to Colorado from Jackson State. What's it called? Travis
Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. He's going to come into the portal and go to Colorado with Deion and go Division I and Pac-12. And, it's just the clown. It looks like a clown show. The start of the Deion era has been a total clown show with the way that he's talking to the Colorado guys. Yeah, we know they went 1-11 this year. You're going to change everyone and tell them to leave if they don't want to compete. I get that. I get you want to compete, but this is starting to look like a clown show, and you're doing it in front of all these cameras. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's legit stuff. So I don't know if Colorado was the best fit. We talked about that on last week's show about where Deion should have went. I just don't see him as a Colorado guy. I don't know if it's going to work out in the Pac-12. I don't know if the leap from Jackson to Colorado is the right leap for him to take. So I hope it works out for him because I like Deion. I think he's a good guy, but it's an absolute clown show to start.
I think personally, we don't know if Deion can coach.
That is very, very true. It was Jackson State. I know that they won, but
it's okay, well, if you and I were coaching and we had a little league team and we just started recruiting all the big kids and fundamentally same aged little league kids and went to the local rec with little league kids who are just not the best, we're going to obviously win every game. Mm-hmm. That's what he did. That's essentially what he did his first year at Jackson State. He went to Jackson State, brought his son in, brought his son's friends who he'd been recruiting with, right? Then I know personally there's 2 Tennessee Vols that went there that were 4 to 5, were 2 4-stars, right? Mm-hmm. They're FCS school. 4-stars don't go to FCS schools.
Yeah, 4 and 5 stars, they don't go
Right.
there. Like,
So
they go to Alabama, Auburn,
yes.
Tennessee, Ohio State. Like they don't
So
go to Jackson State.
he brought in 3 stars, right? You don't even bring 3 stars to a FCS school, right? So he brought in that first year a ton of talent, and then he went 9-3. This last year, based off of what he did in the transfer portal and that 5-star corner and all that stuff, like of course he's gonna win. The talent is not there. Like you're playing, no offense, you're just playing lesser talented players because there's a lot of good players in the HBCU's divisions, and a lot of them do go to the NFL. But the idea of is that entire whole team, that entire like defensive line, like offensive line, you got like you're not gonna your offensive line in a lesser school like that. There's like 2-star dudes. Like if he's got a full depth chart of his full like defensive line, and it's a bunch of just dudes who are at other schools and transferred in that are 3-4 stars, of course they're gonna dominate.
Yep.
So like it makes it easy. I don't know if he can coach. That's where my question comes from. Can Dion coach?
Yep.
Did he go to an easy league? Not this year. That league was stacked.
Yeah.
Like the Pac-12 had 6 teams ranked, and they still have 6 teams ranked. It was a friggin' they ate each other up. They cannibalized. They're cannibals out there.
I do have another question about head coaching that went on in this carousel. What the hell did Scott Frost do to not like even be considered as like an offensive coordinator on any of these staffs? Like, it was that bad at Nebraska? Like, what?
I don't know, man.
What he did? Like, what's going on? Is Saban just waiting to bring him into the school of rehab when what's it called goes and gets a job in the NFL? Like, bring him in as the OC for rehab? Like,
hey, Hugh Freeze hasn't hired an OC yet. Not that anybody's going to be actually coaching the offense, but you never know. He could bring him on like a Nick Saban and put him under his wing. You don't know.
It would be smart.
But no, I don't. No,
he wasn't mentioned in like anyone's. No, he wasn't a finalist anywhere. Like it was just wild to me.
With the Nebraska and Scott Frost thing, like to me, not a lot of you don't hear a lot of stories of negativity coming out at when he was at UCF and then at Nebraska. Like you would think like, okay, is it a culture thing? Is it a character thing? Like no one's saying anything bad about him.
Yeah,
as a person.
That's why I'm just genuinely confused. Like, how is he not? Like, is he just an average Joe? Like,
he's just
all the other colleges. Like, Wisconsin got Luke Fickell. Like that was awesome. But
yeah, great.
You think that like any of those schools, like even like a Cincinnati or a school that's not a Power 5 conference, like Liberty or Coastal, like. Looking at all these other schools that like hired coaches, not one of them, Scott Frost was a finalist, or I didn't even hear that he was getting interviews. Like I don't even know if he interviewed for a job.
I don't think so. I think no one wants to touch him right now. It makes no sense to me. There's definitely more to it than what we know. There has to be because like Georgia Tech, all the good coaches out there, Georgia Tech hired their interim coach.
Yeah,
like I would have called Scott up. Anything's better than what they had.
Yeah.
Right, I was called like, "Hey Scott, come in for an interview. It ain't Nebraska. Come over here." Like, you know what I mean? You can recruit Atlanta. You can come in Georgia, get all the scraps that them go to the SEC. We can make a team here. That's where I'm just really confused about the Nebraska thing. And then they get Matt Rule, and it's like I don't know if Matt Rule is going to be just as I don't know. Hey, if you're Matt Rule, how are you going to recruit a kid to come to Lincoln, Nebraska?
Yeah.
Like, if you walk through my door and I'm a 4-star linebacker and I got recruits, I got Michigan State, Ohio State, and
Wisconsin,
and I got a Nebraska based off of what? Like, it's going to be really tough.
Hell, I'd go to FAU over that, man.
I would go to freaking, I don't even know. I would go to
FAU, baby, Tom Herman.
Hey, good for him. I'm glad he got a job.
Yeah, he did. That was good.
He had the Scott Frost treatment for 2 years.
Yeah. He did. Also, I think it's really ironic that what's it called, the Louisville Cincinnati, because they play in the bowl game, and didn't Cincinnati steal Louisville's coach?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that
right.
was that was fun.
But I think personally, if we're going to talk about the carousel and talking about coach, I think Fickle's going to do a great job in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think it's a perfect fit. Why? To me, this whole time, I'm like, why is Cincinnati not in the Big Ten anyways? Because they just seem like a good fit to me. But I don't know. I think Fickle will do a great job in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm excited for Luke Fickle to be at Wisconsin. I think that he's gonna even out the playing field for recruiting. I think he's gonna be able to recruit star players like he had Sauce and those guys at Cincinnati that he was able to recruit that ended up going to the NFL and are having success in the league. You think about like all the offensive linemen and running backs that they can. The Cincinnati offense was pretty electric with Ritter last year, and even this year. Like I know they weren't as great as they were last year with Ritter and Alec Pierce and all those other guys that they had on that offense that ended up going to the playoffs last year. But man, Luke Fickle at Wisconsin, I expect Wisconsin to be back to the level that they were a couple of years ago. I mean, they were competing for Big Ten titles. They were a top 15 program. They were very consistent. You look back at the last year that Ohio State won the title in 2014. Wisconsin played Ohio State in the title game, and Ohio State needed a statement win, and we did beat them 59-0. But that was a really, really good Wisconsin team, but it was just a dominant Ohio State team. Like if you told me that we were going to win 59-0 before that game, I would have laughed at you because Cardell Jones never taken a snap in college. It felt like pretty awesome for Luke Fickle to get that job and really bring back some of those programs in the Big Ten. Like we need to not have Michigan State suck. We need those teams to be good. Like the Big Ten needs Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan State. Like they need those guys to be good. And I think that Wisconsin is on the way back to being good. Welcome back, Nate.
Thanks, guys. My computer gave me 2 warnings and it said, no, your power's cut off.
Nice.
It's like, what the hell just happened? So
we were just talking about Wisconsin and how Fickle's going to be a good fit there, but I wanted to say something earlier when we were talking about Dion that I forgot to sneak in there. Did you guys hear that he's they're trying to figure out how to pay him? They don't have enough money to pay the man.
Yeah,
I thought that was brilliant.
But you're telling me these guys are going to come there and get some NIL from the school? Nah, it haven't.
That's what it's like.
The AC companies and the local Audi dealerships and getting some NIL money from the local businesses in Colorado. I don't know if they can get any from weed dispensaries.
Oh, they will.
They can. They can because it's legal in the state. Yeah.
That's very true.
They'll get that money, that green. Trust me.
They'll get green some way, somehow.
Man, I tell you what, that was really funny when the AD was like, I don't know, I got him, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I was like,
what?
That to me, that was like, this man is
sold his soul.
Sold his soul. And he's just like, hope it works out. Because I didn't even think he watched any film. He just went straight into it. He's like, Dion, Brand, bring it in.
Dion, bring him in. Sold.
Yeah, sold. Freaking Dion, dude. Funny. I love it though.
Yeah, the coaching carousel has been fun. Still some places to get filled, but I'm sure it'll happen before bowl season gets kicked off.
Yeah, there's some teams still needing coaches. I know Jamie Chatwell, he's leaving Coastal Carolina for the Cincinnati job. Yes, okay. I think it's a great fit. phenomenal hire on them. No, Louisville. He's going to Louisville. Even better for Louisville. Like they're getting a killer coach.
Yeah.
Did y'all mention the Louisville Cincinnati thing?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
we
talking
did.
how they poached and they play in the bowl game, which is
Like
hilarious. Also, a very very good bowl game.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know if
Fenway
you want
Bowl.
to segue into bowl season, but
Yes.
what is your favorite bowl game that's not a New Year's Six that you're looking forward to watching? Because I have my eyes on a couple different bowl games that I think are going to be really fun. And mine is one of the ones that I'm actually excited to watch is Oklahoma versus Florida State in the Cheez-Its Bowl. I think that's going to be an electric game of offense going around. And that FSU quarterback, he is
playing.
He is
a
electric.
Man
He
on
was
fire.
awesome. Yeah, he was awesome in that UF game. Like he was just pulling plays out of his ass, like, and a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching him.
And he's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back. So he will play in the bowl game. So that's awesome. That's the game that I've really have like looked at that has kind of stood out. Wisconsin, Oklahoma State also. I feel like that might be a sneaky good game, or it could end like 10-3. So,
yeah, it could. It depends on who's holding out or who transferred. When I don't make my bowl pick'em picks until the day of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, that's what I
Also,
did last
we do
year.
have Bowl Mania going on.
Yes,
The Back Porch
Bowl
Overs
Mania.
Club has Bowl Mania. We do have a link for the entrance into Bowl Mania. So when do our first bowl game is what? The 16th?
10 days.
Yeah, so we got 10 days to get everyone's contests in. Make sure you jump in. I will be entering in my bowl picks on day of bowl games because that's the smart and responsible thing to do as a gambler. Like you got to wait until the day of.
For Jake and I last year, so
we had two different strategies though.
Yeah.
I picked all mine in one sitting.
Did you?
You're picking yours day of. Yeah, dude. I don't know.
I mean, you're also the
vibes.
You're the FPI killer, anyway. So I mean, why not?
Yeah, it's very true.
There's one way to do it, man, and just sit down and bang it out.
Just go with your gut feeling immediately. Like who else isn't gonna break down Middle Tennessee State versus San Diego State?
I mean, I would, but
like that's a coin flip game, isn't it?
Say that's a Hawaii Bowl, so I think both teams win. That matter what.
Yeah, very true. Like if you win 6-7 games and you go to the Hawaii Bowl, like you just automatically
national championship. I'm so happy.
Yeah, like going to Hawaii, like what a time.
What a time, what a bowl game, right? Could you imagine if you're just a place kicker for
or
a group of 5 team or a punter, and you're like, hey, where are we going? Oh, we're going to the Bahamas Bowl. All right. Like, especially if you're in the MAC or something, it's snow outside. Like, yes.
Yeah, like get me out of here. Let me go to the Bahamas.
God, what a blessing.
I'm very disappointed though that the bowl committee gave Gus Malzahn Duke because Gus is known to lose bowl games that don't matter. And that to me is just one that he's like, would he be able to claim doesn't matter or whatever and lose? But then he put him against Duke, and I don't see a way that they lose to Duke. But then again,
Duke's 8-4, man.
It doesn't matter. They're in the All Cupcake Conference. I could care less.
They earned that 8-4, man.
Against who? Guys that lose to Western Kentucky every other weekend? Come on, man. I don't.
That's a first-year Duke head coach. Okay.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Utah, Penn State, great Rose Bowl matchup.
Yes, that is a phenomenal Rose Bowl matchup. I'm glad Penn State got in the New Year's Six because there was talk that they could trickle down and get bumped to like the Outback Bowl, or the Citrus Bowl or whatever. And I was like, for a team that honestly has been just on fire, they deserve that. So honestly, Penn State can thank USC as well for the help. The Big Ten's got 2 New Year's Six teams in there,
and 2 playoff teams,
teams. Sick. So and deserving. because those three are the three best teams in the Big Ten, right?
Yep.
So one of my most intriguing games is UTSA versus Troy.
I was actually just looking at that. That's going to be
Let's go Trojans.
That is
Trojans.
Both teams have 10 wins. Both teams won their conferences, and this is day one of the bowl. It's the Duluth Trading Cure Care Bowl, and I believe that one is in Orlando.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Your Cure Bowl is in Orlando City Stadium.
Yeah, you should go to that game, like Jake. Like that would be fun.
I could probably get free tickets from Rhett Lashley since I had to suffer through him being at Auburn. So
yeah, you should.
I should hit him up and be like,
hey,
listen.
I need some
honestly, they give away the supporters group I'm in for Orlando City. We get free tickets to games like that. So
you should go for fun.
If I could break away from the family, I think I would.
Take them. They'll probably let him run on the field.
After the game, they actually might.
Yeah.
It's a weird bowl game because soccer fields and football fields, though they look the same,
they're not. Yeah,
they're not. Soccer fields are much wider than football fields, so it always looks a little weird when they have a football game on that field.
But stadium wise, at least it's not huge where it doesn't look like there's not people there. Like I'm pretty sure Troy's gonna have a lot of people come.
They'll travel.
I don't know about UTSA, but so they'll show that. So but this game, man, the over on this game is probably 70 points. Like no defense in this game whatsoever.
I'm looking for tickets of this bowl game, and no one's giving me any results on tickets. Like they have to be just giving these away.
They do, man. I'm telling you right now that we get free tickets.
Now, $18.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say it's a Friday at 3 p.m. I don't know if that works for work schedule, but
no, it don't work for me.
No.
I wish.
$20 in the end zone. $20 in the end zone, lower level.
Section 4, row B.
I love it.
$26.
I want to go so bad.
That's on that section 4 is on the side with the actual bucket seats, not the supporter section that just has bench seating. So they have to pull they have to pull bench seating down because it's normally standing room only for Orlando City games, but they have benches that fold down. Every other seat in the stadium though is like a bucket seat. So section 4 is on the other side, so you'd actually be in a bucket seat, which is really comfortable. But you'll get blasted by the sun. I'm telling you right now, it'd be awful.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
But 3 o'clock, the sun will be setting.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, pretty much, right?
Dude, it's funny because the sunset obviously with the time change goes, it goes down pretty quick. But dude, we were walking out of the Browns Bucks game. Obviously, it went pretty deep into overtime. And it was like 4:15, like walking out of the stadium, and like you could see the sun like on the horizon, like just right above the water at like 4:15. The sun is down in Cleveland. It's hilarious.
I mean, the shortest day of the year is coming up. So
yeah. It was a game I was really looking forward to. Florida and Oregon State, I think will be really fun. It's December 17th. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun game.
Saturday.
For everybody
it's a fun matchup.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to get to realize that AR-15 is not a good quarterback.
Well, he's not playing.
Oh, even better.
Yeah,
wow.
He declared like Florida might score 50.
Who's going to waste a first-round pick on this guy so we can all laugh in 3 years? Oh, the Colts? Probably.
Oregon's
going to be, it's Malik Willis.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Malik Willis of the draft. Everyone's expecting a first-round pick, and he really goes in the third round, and he sucks.
Right.
Yeah. The Ravens
are going to pick him.
That game will be over at halftime. Oregon is going to hurt them.
The funny thing is, Malik Willis was putting up video game numbers, and Richardson did like once or twice but so at least people were thinking, man, this guy put up video. Maybe he can do it. Maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle. Anthony Richardson, I'm just like, the guy's terrible against good teams. Why are we thinking he's a good quarterback? But that's neither here nor there.
It's the same argument with Levis.
Yeah,
that could be that's not on our docket. We can go deep into that. But
no, I know.
We can talk about that later. The New Mexico Bowl, Southern Methodist versus BYU. So another religion breakdown in New Mexico.
Dude, you're forgetting the biggest religious one of them all, Nate.
What,
Dude,
Liberty and
no, South Carolina versus Notre Dame. The Beamer religion versus
the
the
Beamer
Catholics.
cult versus the Catholics. So, God, I don't
It's
even,
great.
if I could not watch
Lots of great bowl games.
tons.
Curious thoughts on the matchups of the playoff of TCU Michigan. What do y'all think about that matchup? I know a lot of people wanted the Ohio State Michigan rematch in round one, and everyone just wants Georgia to play Michigan or Ohio State in the title game. But we didn't get that. We got Michigan versus TCU and Ohio State Georgia. I think that everyone's kind of sleeping on TCU. I think they have a chance to spread Michigan out and give them a run for their money. I know they don't play a lot of defense, but JJ McCarthy doesn't in that Big Ten title game. He threw the ball like 17 times. Like he doesn't. They don't throw the ball a lot. So if they get down early, like I think, TCU actually might have a chance at this. I'm curious what everyone else thinks.
The best way to beat a physical team, we can go back to the Gus Malzahn era at Auburn when he'd play Alabama, and Alabama would be the biggest, baddest boys on the block, and Auburn would spread them out. And so I'm not saying that Michigan's not the better team. I truly think Michigan's the better team, but the only way to equalize, like Nate just said, against a bigger, badder team, big boys, you have to spread it out and tire them out. Make them run sideline to sideline, not north and south. The more you do that, the better off the better chances you have of winning that game and keeping it close in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Michigan's going to want to control the clock. They're going to want to control everything they can in that game, all the way down to TV timeouts if they could. They're going to try to control everything. And TCU, when they get the ball, and if they say they make a stop, because it's going to be bend don't break for them defensively, they're not going to be able to play straight up. They're going to have to schematically bring some heat each play. They're either going to have to scheme, especially when the Michigan gets in their 21 personnel. With that two tight end set with that run with Donovan Joseph, they're going to have to scheme up schematically because they're not going to be able to bring in all the linemen. They can't go to a bare front, so they're going to have to use all their linebackers that they got, and they're going to have to just control the line of scrimmage, like as in plug. They're going to have to plug every hole. Because that's what Michigan's going to want. They're going to want to freaking bulldoze and open up those lanes. And then Michigan, what really, really want is they want TC to drop that safety.
Yep.
They want them to go to press. They want them to go to free. And at that point, that's when McCarthy's literally going to throw the ball all over them. They can't defend. You already saw that against Kansas State. So they're going to in favor of this game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think the first quarter might be close because it's Michigan playing with them and trying to figure out what's going to work best at the moment. Are we going to come out like Jake Crane said again? They're playing in reverse, right? They're hitting a play action pass on first down, second down. All the downs that you think you're going to run it, they throwing it, right? They're playing with them. So they're going to play those mind games with them in the first. And if TCU has to do – this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to get early turnovers and a lot of momentum in the first half. Because if they don't get any turnovers and they don't play with any electricity in their fire in their veins or whatever like that, you're looking at a third quarter where Michigan they'll just sit on the ball. And they will just control the clock and hurt them.
Yep.
And by the time the fourth quarter comes and Michigan gets the ball again after they kicked a few field goals, after being hit in the face for 3 straight quarters, one of those holes is going to open up. It's going to be a big 80-yard run like what happened against Ohio State.
Yep.
That's what they want to play. That's what they want to do. So I feel like Michigan has too much, man. They have too much. Like they're not even missing Blake Corum because his backup's better than him.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Like it's insane. And you got McCarthy like, well, I don't know why he didn't play all year.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was a dumb decision by Harbaugh, but whatever. That it worked out for them, and they're in the playoff again. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Like they were all content with just getting to the playoffs last year. Like I think this year you kind of want to just do a little bit more, but we'll see exactly what happens. And then the other side, Georgia, Ohio State. I'm ready to be heard again. The slim chance of us beating Georgia died when Jackson Smith and Jigba said that he wasn't going to play, and I'm just ready to be out physicaled in the game and play catch up ball. So yeah, it's going to be sad, but
I don't know.
well, I'm happy to be there.
I don't know.
I hope it doesn't ruin my
go
New Year's
with that
Eve,
one?
but I don't have expectations of beating Georgia. But by the time the game comes around, I'll talk myself into Ohio State being able to beat them. But right now, I don't feel too good about it.
Well, I mean, it's a home game for Georgia again in Atlanta, so
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That game it could be the best game of the year, or it could just be just a dredging that no one wants to watch. So I mean, it's just I don't know. I know the committee had it right by putting Ohio State at 4.
Yep.
Because there's no way Alabama needs to be in there. But what's going to happen if that game goes bad? All them Alabama fans are going to talk their crap for freaking 6 months.
Well, don't lose to 4-loss LSU.
Yeah.
Listen, it's hard for them to talk with the 3 or 4 teeth that they have. So normally they just type it, but
they'll talking out them teeth. For them 7 months until August.
Listen, I don't care. I honestly don't care what they say. Bama would have gotten boat raced by this Georgia team.
Yeah.
They're way too physical. I mean, this is not the same kind of Bama team we've seen. If you thought LSU ran on them, I mean, let's pause for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The worst Auburn team, the second worst Auburn team I've seen in 10 years, just put up more rushing yards on them than Nick Saban's given up in his entire career.
Damn.
And you don't think that Georgia wouldn't do it? If Georgia didn't do it, I promise you Michigan would do it. So I don't want Bama fans to run their mouth about that.
I'm not trying to be a homer over here, but the best 1 versus 4 game would have been Tennessee because they've already played them.
Yep.
And that first quarter that Tennessee gave up all those touchdowns, it was all because of terrible placement in the pass coverage.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game, Tennessee gave up 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia couldn't run. They ran the ball I think they had 80 yards running.
Yeah.
But the damage was done. So, plus, you give Hype, I feel like if you gave Heupel 60 days to plan for you, he's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I think Ryan Day's a good coach. I think they're gonna have a game plan, and that's one of those things. Georgia's, they've looked amazing at home, but it's gonna be a lot of Ohio State fans there. It's gonna be 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that.
I don't. I
think it's going to be 80-20?
Dude, even when they played Bama last year, it was 70-30 in the SEC championship. It's not even close. It's the Georgia fans that live in Alabama will say, "I'm an Alabama fan," then show up in Georgia gear. It's not even close.
I just want to give the coaching a doubt. I also feel like they're, I don't know. It's too early to tell. We'll see.
I mean, I'll go ahead and give my picks on it because I'm gonna have to hop off after this.
Yeah.
But I have Ohio State going down to Georgia and losing probably by 2 scores. I think it's closer than a lot of people think. I really don't think it's going to be a 30-point win. I think it's 2 scores and whether that be a 10-point game or a 14-point game, I think Ohio State's in it till the fourth quarter and they pull away by 1 more score and make it a 2-score game. And then I truly think that that Georgia is going to beat Michigan. I think Michigan can play physical with them, but I just don't see Michigan figuring out how to guard the monster of those tight ends. So But those are my two thoughts on it. But
That's a good thought.
yeah, I gotta hop off of here.
Hop off, Jake. It's great to have you, buddy.
Enjoyed being back on with you guys.
Yeah.
But finish it off strong for us. But
Yeah.
those are my
minutes,
picks, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. See you later,
guys.
Bye.
We'll finish with a little bit of Heisman talk here.
Heisman talk.
Did this weekend, with championship weekend unfolding the way that it did it kind of give like Stetson Bennett like a sad like last minute invite, like, hey, like we got to invite Stetson Bennett because he's on the number one team and he's the quarterback and he's been playing very well, but his stat line throughout the year is nowhere near like what a Heisman level is. Like Caleb Williams is like 43-6 and or 43-4 or something like that. It's crazy. And Stetson Bennett's like 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Like his numbers are not there, but I mean, USC lost.
Here's the argument for you. Put Stetson Bennett on USC.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do right now this year with that USC team?
Yeah.
Does he get them in the top 4?
Mm-hmm.
Put Caleb Williams on that Georgia team. Oh, he's balls out because why?
Yeah,
he's surrounded by greatness.
Yeah, he's got the greatest athletes and skilled players around him.
And why not, right? That's my argument. You put Stetson Bennett anywhere else and put him on any team that doesn't have the caliber of players that Georgia has, he becomes mundane and mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
That's
he's also
how can
as old as Lamar Jackson. So Lamar's in his 5th year in the NFL, and Stetson Bennett
is good. He knows the playbook. He's done it for 5-15 years.
He can run a car.
Yeah, like it's
like you can run a car.
My argument is like for me, a Heisman is this is my argument for Heisman. A Heisman can go on any team, like especially a quarterback, go on any team and take that program and elevate them to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You take CJ Stroud and you put him on any team, he'll be elevated to the next level. He'll elevate those guys to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those linemen all of a sudden have an extra more pep in their step when they're blocking because they know they got this guy who's going to lead them.
Also, an argument on the Heisman and Stetson Bennett with the guy that we were talking earlier. JT Daniels was 7-0 as the Georgia starter, and now we're literally laughing at him because he's transferred so many times and like he can't win anywhere. Like he was literally undefeated as the starter before. Exactly. Like now we're making fun of JT Daniels, but he was literally on the on that team that ended up like. That was just a ridiculous play, which just happened in the game I'm watching. But I'm sorry, distracted.
No, you're good.
But like we make fun of JT Daniels because he's transferring like for the fourth time. But like he was 7-0, and Georgia fans were throwing a fit when they benched him for Stetson Bennett a couple years ago.
Oh, I know. And then,
like it's actually hilarious. Like JT Daniels would probably be a Heisman candidate and maybe have a little bit better numbers than Stetson because that Georgia offense struggled in like that Missouri game and then that Kentucky game. Like they've struggled on offense this year. And I feel like he just got like a pity invite to the ceremony because they're 13-0 and he's the quarterback on the number one team in the nation.
Here's Nate's take of the night. Why is Corum and why is Hendon Hooker being punished for missing 1 week of football?
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're dead. Like, can't bring them. These guys, freaking both of them in their own positions, were the best in the country.
Yeah, does Corum get an invite if Michigan loses to Ohio State because he was that much of an impact like for Michigan and they lost to Ohio State without him? Like, no, that's a dumb argument. It's also dumb that like, another dumb thing is that these guys that are voting for the Heisman, apparently there was a lot of guys that turned in their ballot before championship weekend. Like Caleb Williams was penciled in as the Heisman winner, and like shame on them for turning in their ballots early. Like that's blasphemy to me. Like what you do
doing here?
weekend. Like that's just something that happens. Like look at Troy Smith back in the day, like that 1-versus-2 matchup against Ohio State, Michigan. If Troy Smith shit the bed that day, why would he win the Heisman? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Caleb's going to go out this weekend and he's going to win the Heisman. And it's kind of going to be a little bit embarrassing because he's on a 2-loss team and they just got smoked in the Pac-12 title game and they lost to Utah twice.
They didn't get smoked in that game. They got rolled up, smoked, taken the ashes, marinated. They did it. It was so bad. Once Utah realized they can start getting him on any down when they want to blitz, it became extremely unbearable to watch because
he was hurt, but at the same time, we saw that
he was doing his best, but he was getting laid out every play. Did he make some great throws? Yes, he did.
That run that he got hurt on, that was awesome. Like that was a Heisman moment. That run right there. And it ended up costing him the game and probably the playoffs. Yeah. But we said this, like we said this earlier in the year. USC was not supposed to be a problem this year. USC is supposed to contend next year. Yes, and Caleb coming back, he's going to probably have a chance to defend the Heisman because I think he's going to end up winning it. I think Caleb wins the Heisman, and I think that he's going to have a chance to run it back and win a natty next year. Like it's very possible that could happen.
If he's smart, he should stay.
Well, he's 100%. He has to stay. He's a true sophomore.
Yeah, he has
to stay. Yeah. Like legally, he's staying because if not, he'd be the number one overall pick. So
just on potential alone,
exactly.
So he'll be there
next year,
and
they're going to be good. They're going to contend. They might be a favorite. They might be a favorite to win the title.
They'll be top 4 next year going in preseason football. They'll be top 4. How their schedule lines out, they'll probably look like they're undefeated all the whole year. And because the Pac-12 is going to have a letdown next year.
Yep.
They're on the rise. Everybody else is going down in the Pac-12. This was the Pac-12's year to show out with 6 teams that they had. So the Pac-12 is going to have a rebuild year as a whole conference, and and then USC's going to just take. And then
they're going to lose USC and UCLA. So so the rebuilding year is going to suck.
So
they're rebuilding to nothing.
Yep. He is probably, to me, he's the only person as a finalist that deserved to be a finalist. I love Max Duggan. I love his story. I love everything about him.
But he was awesome this past weekend too.
He had a great weekend. But how do you snub Bo Nix for what he did at Oregon this year? How do you snub Drake May, even though his teams the last 3 weeks, he doesn't play defense?
Yeah. He's another we didn't even talk about him in the portal. He's going to the portal.
Do you think did he announce it?
He didn't announce it, but there was rumors like 2 or 3 hours ago that he is considering entering the portal. So
this is what I don't like. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's a North Carolina kid.
Yep,
he was going to go to Alabama, and Mac Brown flipped him, and he went to North Carolina. He needs to be a North Carolina kid.
Yep.
That makes no sense because you know where he's going to go. He's going to go to Georgia. Like Georgia. This is one thing I was talking to my dad about this. He mentioned it yesterday, and he goes, Alabama in the last 15 years, they have won their championships or been in the championship and stuff like that with a quarterback that they developed or brought in. He goes, Georgia, the difference between Georgia and them is Georgia has rented their quarterbacks.
Yep.
They've not had one quarterback that they groomed from house up besides Stetson Bennett.
And even him, they tried to kick him out.
And so once again, they go in the next year renting a quarterback. It's just like you sit there and you're like, they're just good. Like, what if it doesn't work out for them? Like, what happens?
Yeah.
They have a bad year. if let's say Drake May hypothetically goes to Georgia and he gets hurt, have you developed the backup? Clearly, you didn't want him to play because you brought in the transfer.
Yep.
That makes no sense to me because Georgia, I know for a fact Georgia has in their quarterback room right now, they got 4 and 5 star backups, and they're not once have played all year.
Yep.
Like Stetson Bennett played all of his games all year long. Like
there's not
crazy.
many games that he came out of.
No, like not at all. Like the Kent State game they played this year, Kent State was playing them great until the third quarter.
Yep.
So Stetson had to play the whole game. Like that's the difference between Stetson and Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker had all those numbers, and he played 3 games this year. Just the first
3
half.
quarters, yeah. Yeah,
not even
just
3.
first half.
Yeah. So he put those numbers up. Like he went out in the Missouri game. They were beating Missouri that bad in the Missouri game. Like that's like the crazy thing. Like then go back to snubs. You snub Hendon Hooker. Like what a story.
Yeah, that was sad because he was so good this year.
So
and
good.
Then he goes down with the ACL injury, and it's just
and you're gonna punish him.
Yeah.
You're gonna punish him. 2 years at UT. His completion rating is like over 6. It's like 60-something%. He's got he's thrown 5 interceptions in 2 years with 60-something touchdowns.
Yeah, just video game numbers.
Yeah. On top of that. Running an offense that he had to learn on the fly, and then this year, without him, if they didn't like you put Stetson Bennett on Tennessee, we're 6-6 team. You put Hendon Hooker on Tennessee, look what he did.
Yep.
Like they're not the same. They're not the same. So
we're really bad beat for
the bad beat for Hooker, bad beat for Corn, bad beat for the Heisman voters. It makes no sense either because Hooker was the SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, make it make sense.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
he'll win the Maxwell. SEC Player of the Year, like SEC quarterback, first team All-American. It's so stupid. Like, and then we work. This is us. We're in the media now. We have a blog. We're a podcast. We can get media passes to go to these games. But it makes the media look stupid.
Yeah,
and it takes the credibility of the Heisman away.
Which I feel like it's been trending that way for a little bit now. So it kind of sucks. But it's just it's the same thing with like bowl games. Like it used to be like the Rose Bowl was the granddaddy of them all, and then like now it's like, wow, I don't even want to play in the Rose Bowl. Like the Rose Bowl wasn't going to invite Ohio State because they didn't sell all 20,000 tickets that they gave them last year.
That's crazy.
That's what bowl games have gone to, which
of the playoffs.
Yeah, because of the playoffs.
Because teams. Well, I will say it will bring the magic back to the bowl games because of the 12-team playoff. Because let's say Ohio State, they're the number 4 team, they get the bye, right? So the first round is at the team's home, the better team's home. Then they get the bye, and now the Rose Bowl is one of them because they signed on that contract.
Yep.
So now the Rose Bowl is going to get the prestige back again.
Yep.
The granddadiness of them all, but now with the playoff feel, which is awesome. I love it. I love it as a traditional college guy. I love the Rose Bowl. I love watching the Rose Bowl. I love everything about the Rose Bowl, to the setting of the Rose Bowl, even though the Rose Bowl parade. I mean, I wish the SEC had a tie into the Rose Bowl because I want to go to the Rose Bowl so bad. The only way the SEC team goes to the Rose Bowl is if a championship game or playoff game. It's just so fun and so cool.
Yeah, it just looks awesome.
Traditionally, it's a big bowl. Every seat in the house you could see. It's not bad. It's a good venue, and just man, just how cool. I want to go so bad.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? I want to go so bad.
We'll get there one day.
Yeah, I want to go, man. And Take the family out there.
Do the whole shebang.
Whole
down there.
shebang. Take the back porch out there on the road. We'll have a back porch live tailgate. Yeah. Set up the cameras. We're media now. So
yeah, exactly. We can get
our media.
credentials, right?
Get our media passes.
Oh, we'll do it.
Man, this has been a fun show, Scott. Thanks for coming on. Man, we could have talked 4.5 hours just of bowl games.
Yeah, that or the
coaching
portal.
carousel.
Like, we didn't even get to Regan Drake May potentially in the portal like crazy.
Yeah. Let's see what's on the docket coming up. We have the bowl games coming up, bowl pick'ems, guys. So if you're listening to this right now in the year 2022 and it's current and it's not January, please join our bowl pick'em. I believe it's free, two free entries, open to the public, as many people as we want. We have fun with it. I got people hitting me up asking for a prize. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
We'll try to figure something out.
If we get over 20 people, I'll find a.
We'll do like a T-shirt
trophy or
a
T-shirt
or trophy or T-shirt winner.
Yeah,
we can design something up.
You can get this mouse right here.
We can do like a certificate that you can print out and sign and
we should give him back. We should give him a chair. An orange camping chair.
Yeah, we'll figure out a prize. We can get a prize.
I'd love to have over 20 people in it. So please, if you're listening, continue to follow, like, and subscribe. We are getting a lot of momentum. I know we're still fairly new in the game. We're getting a lot of momentum in our Instagram and our Facebook. So, with your fellowship, with your love and care, we're continually growing this, and we're just having fun. We're just a bunch of dudes just having fun.
Yeah.
I think this probably be the only show for the week, but
we'll talk some NFL here.
We'll have some NFL coming up.
Playoffs, and
we're getting to the thick of it now. Week 14 NFL. We can have an NFL show. We can go in that more in depth. So if you're an NFL lover or whatever, stick around because we're going to get into that and going into off season of football and
mock
drafts. We got NBA. We got college basketball heating up. There's all kinds of sports, man. It's just the start of the thing. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, tell your friends about us, and continue loving on us. And we appreciate the support. Scott, you need to go to bed. You got to wake up early.
It's bedtime.
It's bedtime. All right. Peace out, guys. Appreciate it. Scott, have a good one. Bless you, my friend. Go Vols.
Go Vols.